grab a trashy novel. Let me give you a plot, see what you think about it. Almost so absurd you wouldn't believe it. Here it goes. The president's son in a leaked sex tape telling a prostitute how a Russian drug dealer stole one of his laptops while he was strung out on drugs in a Las Vegas hotel room. And now the president's son is worried the Russians are going to use it to blackmail him and his father, the president of the United States. It sounds trashy, terrible, and truly unbelievable. Unbelievable until you see the pictures. And sadly, no, it is not a spy novel. It's happening. The images you are about to see are going to be blurred, and that's because this is a family-friendly show at 8 p.m. Eastern. But the audio is not blurred. It is from thedailymail.com, and it is crystal clear.
Anyway, my computer, taking tons of just left that came on. He would always put it. He had my passcode and all that good shit. You know what I mean? And it was crazy shit. And somebody stole them during that period of time. And he did this kind of pretend search. I think he's the one that stole my computer. I think the three guys that were all group. I deal with these two guys. I don't know, I took them everywhere.
You heard all of that right, sadly enough. Joining us now to talk about this, the host of the Dan O'Donnell Show on iHeartMedia, Dan O'Donnell himself. All right, we're going to stipulate at the top of this, it's sad and difficult for Hunter, and it would not be news if he was not the son of the president of the United States. But for the rest of us, the idea that the Russians have compromise on the president's son is scary, right?
Oh, it's terrifying. I mean, this is so beyond fiction that you're right. It wouldn't be at home in the pages of a James Patterson novel because nobody would believe it. And the sad reality is that something that was feared for 4 straight years under President Trump, the idea that the Russians had compromise on the president of the United States, appears to be a reality under the Biden administration. Someone who isn't just the president's son, but according to the very serious allegations against him, someone who is selling influence and access to the president in what appears to be an international pay-to-play scheme. Once again, it sounds like out of a spy novel, but this is apparently Hunter Biden's life.
So we want to be clear, this tape happened back in 2018, before President Biden was President Biden. At one point in the tape, he evidently references, we weren't able to play the whole tape, we got a clip of it from Daily Mail. You can go see the whole thing for yourself on dailymail.com. But in the tape, he references that his father is running for president. So we don't have any idea if any of what he's saying is true or if it's just the ramblings of a man with a clearly very serious drug addiction. I guess the important point would be, is there any way we would know if what he was saying is true and if the Russians really did have this kind of compromise?
No, there isn't. And truth be told, when something like this would happen in a legal setting, you would consider it to be a statement against interest, and you would presume it to be true because this is something that would implicate Hunter Biden. In other words, why is it that the Russians would be interested in his laptop? Is it just because he's the son of the potential future president of the United States, the son of the, at the time, former vice president? Or is it because Biden was indeed engaged and had been engaged, so much so that the Obama administration was very concerned about what Hunter Biden was doing in Ukraine, that this looked even to the Obama administration, it at least had on its face the appearance of being some sort of pay-to-play scheme.
Right. Well, so that was during 2015, 2016. Now we fast forward. You can see there may have been evidence on this laptop. And the other thing is that Hunter Biden said that there were tapes of him engaged in sexual activity, presumably kind of like the tapes we just saw, that the Russians now had as well. That was his fear that he was explaining to this woman in the Las Vegas hotel. You know, Dan, I can remember a time when if you could put the words president, son, tape, prostitute, Russia into a headline, it would have been the front page of every major newspaper in America and would have led every cable television show for days. And yet...
For days, for a month.
For a month. And any idea why that's not having this effect now?
Well, I think to ask the question, Leland, is to answer it, that it's a different president. And I think it's fairly clear that ideologically he lines up with where a lot of the partisan-driven press is.
That's one answer. Is another answer perhaps that Hunter Biden is sort of such a screw up, for lack of a better term, and is so compromised in so many ways, the press just says, what's the point? He's sort of so awful he's beyond actually compromising?
You know, I might think that if there wasn't a concerted effort to actually erase the last time there was a big Hunter Biden story involving the New York Post from the internet, so much so that Twitter actually blocked the New York Post right before the 2020 election, when the news of the extent of the pay-to-play scheme involving the last, well, I guess it's this Hunter Biden laptop, not the one he's talking about, but the one that this video was pulled off, the one that was apparently left at that repair shop. I mean, there was a concerted effort not to have this interfere with the election. And really, there's no other way to look at this, because even though the narrative was that, well, this might be Russian disinformation, it was later proven to be obviously not, when the federal government confirmed that there was an ongoing investigation into Hunter Biden. So given that as a backdrop, I think this is an example of a partisan press choosing to ignore a story.
Well, we'll see. So far, Hunter Biden has lost 3 laptops by count. We'll keep on it. Dan, and I know you will too. Dan O'Donnell, The Dan O'Donnell Show. Nice to talk to you, sir.
Absolutely, Leland. Anytime.
Thank you. Coming up, back to school.